Hello. I'm back with the second part of the series, my story and my journey that got me to six figures with my medical billing business. I know, just to give a real quick recap, in the first video, I talked a lot about where I started, kind of where I was at before I started my journey, raising my children, being at a job, making $14 an hour. But in this video, I'm just going to follow up with where I went from when I started my business. So I jumped in business. I had all of my software. At the time I purchased Metasoft. I got my taxes, because again, I did not have any money. So one thing we know about when you are a single parent and you have your dependents, you get taxes, earned income credit, child tax credit. And so I used that money to invest into my business. And so I went and got all my office equipment, because this was stuff that I was kind of accumulating at the time so I could start my business. I got my software. That was one of the biggest expense that I had at that time. And so I set up shop in my room. In my bedroom, I got like an office desk, got a computer with two double screens, had my software. I signed up with a clearinghouse. At that time, it was Zermed that I set up with. I had my providers. At this time, I had 6 providers. I want to say at that time, I was charging maybe 8% of collections. And I was ready and set to go, y'all. Okay? Well, at least I thought. So at that time, I was bringing in some income. But the one thing that I did not realize when I started my business is that everything that there was to know about business, I knew nothing about. Nothing. I didn't know how to do the systems. I didn't know how to onboard providers. I didn't know how to protect my business. I didn't know that I needed insurance. I didn't know that, I was using my own personal bank account. I didn't know the first thing about business, y'all. And so, of course, I learned it as I went along. But when I first started out, I didn't know anything. I just jumped into business. I just jumped into it. I'm like, you know what? And hey, I commend anybody that just goes at it, because here's the thing about business. You are going to come across some stumbling blocks. You're not going to be successful right away. But the good thing about these learning lessons, because I don't like to call them failures, because they actually teach you how to do things the right way. And so I went through all the trial and error so I could learn how to do it the correct way. You know what I mean? And so for me, when I was coming across all these stumbling blocks, like, well, how do I set the clearinghouse and the software up together? I'm purchasing all these training hours so they can teach me how to connect the systems together so I could upload these claim batches. Like, I didn't know any of this. And so I was feeling lost, right? Because when we're working out in the corporate world, when we're doing billing and we're working at these corporate jobs, we get free on the job training. They train us how to work off these systems. And a lot of the stuff that these corporate jobs do on the back end, we don't when you start your own business, you have to do everything yourself. So you don't have IT, you don't have support, you don't have training. You are trying to figure out all these processes and systems on your own because you don't have any of this. And that was exactly what happened to me. Everything that they were doing at my corporate job when I worked at Health Partners, I had to do all of that myself. I didn't know the first thing about systems and processes and how to set things up and how to automate things and how to have charts. EMR and HIPAA compliant. I didn't know about any of this. And this is everything that I had to learn on my own. And so as time went on, what I thought was going to be really easy peasy, that was not the case. And so when it got to the I thought that having my billing company was just going to be about me going in there, you know, putting all the information in, verifying insurance, submitting the claims, and that was it. No, that is not how it is when it comes to business. There's a lot more entailed. And this is why I created the Billing-Naire training guide in the course, because I don't want you all to make the same mistakes that I made when I first got started. And you have this business that's not protected. You have this business, you don't know the first thing about how to onboard your doctors. You don't know the first thing about the systems and the processes. And you spend all this unnecessary money, because here's the thing. I even found out later on down the line that I didn't even need to purchase my own software. And the last time I purchased a software, I spent almost $4,500 to upgrade my version Medisoft 12 to, like, I think it was version 21 that I went up to, and I had to pay like $4,500 for a new system that I didn't even use, because there are ways that you can simplify and not even have to purchase software. And practice management, a PMS system, is the highest startup cost that you are going to spend when it comes to starting a medical billing business. But I have a way that I will train you how to set your systems up so you don't even have to pay that upfront cost for PMS or for the clearinghouse fees. And so with the Billing-Naire, we have a simpler system that you can use, and that you can use where you don't even have to purchase those upfront costs, that you can offset your costs with that. And again, that's one of the highest costs. But anyway, let me go back to what I was talking about as far as my providers. So I had these 6 providers, and things were going well. And then all of a sudden, things started going bad. Things started going bad because I was at a total loss. I didn't know the first thing that I was doing with the systems, because everything that they were doing for me in the corporate world now had to be done by, you guessed it, me, the person who was running the business. And so I started to lose clients. I started one by one by one, started to lose clients. And I was devastated, because I was just like, wow, just when I thought everything was going in the right direction, now here it is, I lost one client. I lost another client, and rightfully so, because their money was on the line. They gave me a chance. I appreciated the opportunity that I was given, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready because I didn't have systems and processes in place. Also, with you not knowing that when you start a medical billing business, you have to learn so many things. But here's the thing. It's not as hard as, well, it was hard for me because I didn't have a roadmap to go off of. At that time, social media wasn't big back then. And so there weren't people teaching you how to do, I don't even know if YouTube was around at this time. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But I know for sure all the rest of these social media platforms that they have now, where you could have these consultants and these coaches, they didn't really have that around. The only thing that I really had at that time to work with was the organization AMBA. And here's the thing. They wasn't teaching you anything about business. They was teaching everybody about certifications and credentialing. That was pretty much it. But as far as like starting a business, they weren't teaching that. And so anyway, I ended up losing all my clients. I ended up towards the end losing all my clients. Now, there was one or two things that could happen in this situation. I said either I can, throw myself a pity party and give up and go back to work, or I can use this as a reason and motivation to move forward and really start a business that I want. And so at that time, I want to say I had earned maybe like $30,000 that year, and slowly but surely started to lose my clients. And so I really didn't have nothing left after that. But I did have the willpower to win. I had the motivation. I had the tenacity to push forward. I was not going to be a victim. I was not going to throw myself a pity party. I picked myself up by the bootstraps and I said, I'm going to do this again. But this time, I'm going to do it right. And that's exactly what I did. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.